Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Nearly 8 in 10 Americans called themselves Christians in 2007. Today, it's closer to 6 in 10. We left the pews, but for a lot, the fear stayed. In this video, I'm going to show you why heaven and hell aren't places that you go when you die. They're frequencies that you already hold within you right now. And we're going to talk about how to flip the program. Whether you grew up in church or not, you've been raised in a cultural system built on fear and control, and you've been told to call it freedom. But that framework seeps into everything. It tells you heaven is a reward and hell is a punishment. Believe the right way and you're saved. Question it and you're damned. But here's the thing. It didn't just give us ideas about the afterlife. It told you how to see yourself right now. Broken, guilty, and dependent on approval. It told you how to see others, saved or damned, worthy or unworthy. And even when you leave the pews, that binary mindset hangs around. Success or failure, enlightened, deceived, or chosen or rejected. This channel is about awakening in all its forms, and religious deconstruction is one of those forms, which is why I created this series, Not Your Pastor's Jesus, because I believe that the Bible didn't get it wrong, people did, but we can reclaim it. And instead of reading it as literal, like we were taught, where it cages us in fear, we can read it energetically, where it becomes an ascension manual. So in this video, I'm going to be connecting some seemingly unrelated threads like Dante's Inferno, the chakric system, Alice Through the Looking Glass, egg theory, the matrix, and hidden biblical codes. We'll uncover what heaven and hell really are outside of dogma and indoctrination. Not destinations that you go to when you die, but frequencies that you already have access to here and now. I'll show you how your body is divine technology designed to bring heaven to earth now, and show you why the old beliefs about heaven and hell don't hold up, what they really are, what it actually means to save or sell your soul, and how you can finally be free of hell fear so that you can live your soul's truth fully and abundantly. I don't say this from the outside. I was raised in this programming, and I know what it's like to throw out my tarot cards in a panic, wondering, what if I'm wrong? What if hell really is forever? I've walked the fire of deconstruction long enough to tell you that there's another way, and it's time to break up with those ideas for good. Let's dive in. Most of us have been conditioned to live just above hell in survival and fear, and just below heaven in full alignment and freedom. We've been taught to wait for an afterlife while living in a half-life. I don't believe that the Bible got it wrong. I believe that people did, like I said. Read literally, it traps you in fear and control, but read energetically, it lines up with psychology, mysticism, and even physics. They all point to the same map inside of you. Hermetic philosophy says all is mind. Einstein said reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. And Jesus declared in Luke 17:21, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Put it together, and here's the punchline. Heaven and hell aren't destinations. They're your design. They live in your mind, your body, and your choices now. And if you keep living that half-life, well, your soul is already lost in limbo. Let's get it back. If this is already resonating, hit subscribe. We're just getting started. And if you want to walk this path with others, join me in the fire, my free awakening community linked below. Now let's break it down even further. We've been taught that heaven and hell are places we go when we die, depending on whether you do the right things or the wrong things, or if you believe the right things or the wrong things. Grab a denomination and slap an interpretation on it. We've also been taught to think that our body is just a machine that carries around our minds. But that's not the truth. Your body isn't a meat suit. It's a living temple and a cosmic map that's designed to generate experiences that feel like heaven or hell, depending on how you use it. For the premise of this video, I'm working from a Christ consciousness lens. Allow me to paint a picture of your divine tech for you. You've probably heard of the 7 chakras, but we actually have multiple energy centers within our bodies. Right now, I'm just focusing on the 7 along the spine and a couple that you may not have heard of that are below and above the main 7. Still working on the premise that your body is a metaphysical map. At the very bottom of that map is what is known as the Earth Star, a field of energy beneath your feet. Think of it like soil, dark, unseen, but where everything roots and emanates from, like the void. At the top is the soul star, a field of energy above your head that represents integration, unity, and the sense of being part of something bigger. Together, those 2 points bookend your whole experience, what you rise from and what you move towards. And between them, the 7 energy points that we call chakras are stacked along your spine like rooms in a house. Each room has its own lessons, its own polarity, and its own choice points. Consider for a moment that they are in fact rooms in your temple. Each chakra isn't just a colored dot on a chart. It's a living realm inside of you. Step into the root and you're in the room of survival and instinct. Step into the sacral and you're in the room of desire and creation. Each space has its own climate, its own atmosphere, and its own laws that shape how you feel and what you experience, what you think, and how you act. And just like rooms in a house, these spaces can be clean and bright, or they can be cluttered and dim. The furniture is your habits, your beliefs, and your nervous system patterns. When you walk into a cluttered room, it doesn't matter how beautiful the rest of the house is. Your experience shifts to match that space. This is how your inner rooms generate your outer life. This is also where the matrix or simulation idea makes sense. Your nervous system and your focus literally power the program that you're in. Whatever you feed, fear, drama, scarcity, lights up the lower loops and keeps their hell running. Whatever you feed inward and upward lights the lampstands instead. And if you're not familiar with that, it comes from Revelation and the 7 lampstands. I talk a little bit about it in the video that I'll link below on Christ oil. However, we'll get into it a little bit more down the road. Anyways, whatever you feed inward and upward lights the lampstands instead. Your attention is the current, your body is the tech, and the world that you experience is the projection. Now imagine what happens when every room is cleared, aligned, and powered in the same direction. The walls line up, the wiring connects, and instead of having 7 separate rooms, you get a single column of light shooting from the top and the bottom, connecting and integrating the all. Your body does the same thing. When your centers are aligned, they form a pillar and a portal for light to flow infinitely up and down, connecting your Earth Star below and your Soul Star above. That's your divine technology running at full capacity. And it's not only personal. You're not a sealed off unit. You are a cell in a larger body. The egg theory, which if you're not familiar with it, I'll share it below. I think that you'll find it riveting and eye-openingly resonant. It says that all consciousness is one consciousness, experiencing itself from different viewpoints. That means that your alignment feeds into the collective field. When you shift your inner rooms from distortion to coherence, you're not just changing your life, you're helping flip the grid that we all live in. This is the bigger picture that I want you to hold as we move forward. You are the temple, the rooms, and the light. The same symbols that show up in scripture and mythology, be it ladders like Jacob's ladder, the lampstands, the circles that we'll be talking about with Dante's Inferno, they're all metaphors for the system inside of you. In a moment, we'll start decoding them one by one so that you can see how the map works. When I started looking for patterns between religion, psychology, and energy work, I noticed something. The same images kept showing up everywhere, not just in one book or one tradition, everywhere. And most of us have seen them without realizing what they're pointing to. Think about color. We've all seen the painting of the devil in bright red with horns, a tail, and a trident. And we've all seen Jesus in white robes with a purple sash, right? Those aren't random costume choices. They're codes. Red is the color of our lowest emanation, survival, fear, and instinct, while white is every color integrated, all 7 centers aligned. Purple is the color of the crown chakra, a color of divinity, royalty, and higher consciousness, our highest emanation. 2 ends of the same spectrum of light. We just need to bend it right to see it clearly. Once you see the color codes, you can start to see more. The Bible's 7 lampstands, those aren't cosmic candlesticks in heaven. They're your own 7 energy centers, 7 light rooms inside of you. Each has a shadow and a light aspect. Think of the 7 deadly sins and the 7 virtues, 2 polarities. Each has a gate and a guardian and a ruler. But for the most part, we've been told that it's all hippy-dippy bullshit. But if you can look past what you've been told to believe, and you can take charge of each of these energy centers or rooms and take stock of what subconscious processes and beliefs are ruling each, you can flip the switch, and the room that's been ruled by darkness can be made into a room filled with light. When you can get past the gatekeeper at each and open the full portal, you can then ascend the stairway to heaven. This is where the Bible's picture of Jacob's ladder comes alive. The story says Jacob saw angels ascending and descending a ladder, reaching from earth to heaven. We've been taught to imagine that as a literal staircase in his dream, somewhere in the clouds. But what if it was always a diagram of you? A code for the 33 vertebrae of your spine, a built-in stairway for your own consciousness to rise and descend on. Those angels are messengers. In your body, that's exactly what your thoughts, emotions, and currents of energy are doing, carrying messages up and down that ladder, rising when you're aligned, falling when you're in fear. Even Satan is depicted in the Bible as standing before God in heaven. How could that be if he was cast out in the beginning of time? Because these aren't characters acting on a stage. They're states moving within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and so is the kingdom of hell. Angels and demons both ascend and descend those 33 vertebrae. They're your unhealed patterns and your highest insights, moving through the same channel. Jacob, whose name means supplanter, later became Israel, a name that we've been told belongs to a nation. But Israel isn't just a place on a map. Israel is a people. Israel is a pattern. You are Jacob. You are Israel. This story isn't outside of you. It's a manual for what happens inside you when you wrestle with your own shadow and rise. And this is not just about hell. Dante's Divine Comedy mapped a journey from hell through purgatory into paradise. 9 levels, not as punishment, but as a map of descent and ascent. Add the black earth star beneath your feet and the white soul star above your crown, and you have 9 levels too. The void below, the rooms in between, and integration above. Not punishment, but a map. Not just descent, but ascent. Even psychology echoes this climb. Maslow's hierarchy describes the same movement in plain language. Survival at the base, and then safety and belonging, esteem into self-actualization. You can't live the higher virtues when the lower rooms are in chaos. But once your needs are met and aligned, your nervous system frees energy for love, truth, and union. The subconscious and the nervous system are the gatekeepers at each door. They're built for survival first, not ascension. That isn't personal, it's how the software is made. Software can be updated. Focus and practice create new neural pathways. You literally change the program that you're in. Think of your heart as a hinge. Below the heart is the 3D, survival, desire, and power. The heart itself is 4D, or the bridge. Above it is 5D, truth, vision, and union. Earth is an anagram for heart for a reason. Our hearts are one with the earth. And right now, the Earth's magnetic poles are in a cyclical flip. This isn't separate from you and me. We're reaching critical mass for awakening. What's happening outside is a reflection of what is happening within, and vice versa. One affects the other. Humanity's consciousness is ready for evolution, and the poles are part of that process, as within, so without. Each person who wakes up and comes to a better understanding contributes to that polarity shift in the collective. But it is all connected. We actually can flip the grid and power a whole new reality. This is where the idea of Alice through the looking glass becomes useful. Most people only know it as a children's story or a set of conspiracy code words. Yes, I've been down those rabbit holes and come back out with a conclusion. I'll share those in future videos. If you'd like to hear them, you should probably subscribe and turn on the notifications because they're coming. But through a metaphysical lens, this story of Alice shows us what happens at the heart chakra, but also at every gate between chakras. Picture a looking glass at each chakra. If your heart, energy, or focus is set on things below, you pass through a distorted mirror, like Alice did in Wonderland. Everything inverted, backwards, and confusing. That's hell on earth. But if you flip the game board and focus on what's above, because you've woken up to the distortions and decided to do the work to clear them and clean the room, you begin to power the 5D or heavenly experience. Same rooms, two worlds, one grid. All of these images, devils, robes, ladders, lampstands, circles, and looking glasses are telling one story. You are the temple. You are the rooms, and you have the power and the switch. In a moment, we're going to walk through each level of the ladder together so that you can see exactly where you are in the house and how to flip the mirror. So, now that we've seen the bigger picture, the colors, the lampstands, Jacob's ladder, Dante's map, and Maslow's climb, as well as the looking glass, let's walk through the house itself and go room by room. But first, I want to anchor this with a passage from Scripture. In Matthew 12, Jesus says, when an impure spirit comes out of a person, it goes through arid places, seeking rest, and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to the house that I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits, more wicked than itself, and they go in and they live there. And the final condition of that person is worse than the first. So what does that mean? It means that if you try to clear distortion without creating alignment, the distortion will return, often even stronger. If you sweep a room, but you leave it empty, meaning you don't become what you want that room filled by, which is called embodiment, which I talk about in the video on spiritual buzzwords, and I'll share a link for that below. What happens is the gatekeeper just lets the same patterns walk back in. That's why this journey isn't about bypassing, quick fixing, or pretending that you're cleansed. Yeah, I'm looking at the people thinking that they're covered in the blood of Jesus. It takes a bit more personal responsibility than that. It's about building the infrastructure inside your own temple so that the rooms are occupied with coherence. Safety at the root, integrity at each level, virtue embodied, not just idealized, but lived. So let's take this slow. Picture yourself moving through the house. Each chakra is a room with its own climate, its own gatekeeper, and its own mirror. Each room is also a level on Maslow's pyramid, a human need that must be met and integrated before the next one can truly hold. And at every door, there's a looking glass. Tilt it towards distortion, and you live the shadow side of that room. Tilt it towards truth and the light, and you light the lampstand. But it really is all about perspective and reflection. Before we walk through the house room by room, I want to cover something. Our nervous systems are wired first for survival. Their job is to keep us safe, to notice threats, and to pull us back from danger. That's why fear, scarcity, and bracing feel automatic. For most of humanity, the nervous system is still operating at the base level, and that's where the climb stops. But the nervous system is also plastic. It can be retrained. Just like new neural pathways can be built, new responses can be practiced. That's how we start lighting the higher rooms. And as I bring in Maslow's hierarchy, He only shares 5 levels, but they still marry quite well with the chakra levels. There's some overlap that you'll find I'll talk about. Let's begin. At the Earth Star, or the void beneath, before you even step into the house, you stand on the foundation. The Earth Star is the soil beneath your feet, or you could consider it the basement, the black void from which everything rises from. It can feel like pure potential, the womb of creation, or it can feel like a pit or a nothingness that swallows you whole. This is the field of ancestry, root memory, and collective unconscious. Jung called it the layer that we all share. When distorted, it becomes generational trauma, despair, and hopelessness. When aligned, it's fertile ground, the dark soil from which light can grow. At the root chakra, our survival center, this is Maslow's base: food, water, shelter, safety. Most people's nervous system are focused here, scanning for danger, pulling them back into survival mode again and again. Distorted, this room is ruled by fear, panic, scarcity, hypervigilance. You're alive but not living. But when you align this room, safety becomes anchored in you. You feel grounded in a sense of stability and stewardship. That sense that you belong on this earth and that your needs are met. This is the first lampstand. If it's dark, the whole house feels unsafe. If it's lit, the rest of the climb becomes possible. In the sacral chakra lives our desires and attachments. Maslow's belonging begins here. Blending with safety and security, tribalism plays into that with the idea of safety in numbers. Distorted, this room runs on compulsion and numbing, using people or being used, using pleasure as escape. Flip the mirror and desire becomes clean. Creativity flows. Pleasure is sacred. You connect without losing yourself. The lampstand glows orange, not with hunger, but with vitality and overflow. Now, inside the solar plexus, we have agency and esteem. Here's where Maslow's esteem comes into play. Distorted, this room is the trap of ego and approval, domination on one side, low self-esteem, and never good enough on the other. Pride, wrath, and the endless need to be seen as powerful or more lives here. Or if it's distorted towards low esteem, it may play small to feel safe. But when the gatekeeper is retrained, this room becomes sovereignty, courage, and quiet inner authority. You no longer need the system's script to tell you who you are. This lampstand shines bright yellow when your will serves truth over control. Now the heart, or the bridge. This is the middle chamber, the hinge. Earth, like I said, is an anagram for heart, and it's not just wordplay. Below the heart is 3D, survival, desire, and power. The heart itself is 4D, or the bridge. Above it is 5D, truth, vision, and union with spirit and the higher realms. Right now, even the Earth's poles are flipping. Science is catching up to what mystics have always known. As our planet shifts polarity, so can our hearts. Distorted, this room lives in conditional love, martyrdom, and resentment. Flip the lens, though, and it becomes sovereignty with compassion, harmony, and love. The healthy type of union that you can experience without losing yourself. The green lampstand glows when love is no longer about performance, but is about coherence. In the room of the throat, we have expression. Distorted, this room is silence, manipulation, and spells of illusion. Think programming and indoctrination. You choke back your truth or twist words to control, but when aligned, your word becomes creation. Speech matches what is in your heart. You say what your version of truth is, and the world around you reshapes for better or worse. The lampstand shines blue when your truth is congruent. At the brow is vision, or our third eye. Distorted, this room runs on projection, paranoia, and delusion. Seeing enemies where there are none, mistaking fantasy for truth. But when the glass is upright, discernment opens and we get wisdom, clarity, and accurate pattern recognition. You see truly, and what you see empowers. The indigo lampstand glows up when the mind serves truth instead of illusion. Now the crown. Maslow's highest tier is self-actualization, and it lives here. It's living your highest purpose in embodied form. Distorted, this room falls into dogma or nihilism, outsourcing power to gurus or giving up on meaning. Flip the mirror and you access your highest self. Clear devotion, spacious humility, and higher guidance without grandiosity. This is the purple lampstand, the top tier coated in Jesus' purple sash, the color of divine royalty as a role model for what we can attain when we follow the map that he and other ascended masters left for us. And finally, the soul star with integration above. When distorted, it feels like disconnection, floating without an anchor, lost in bypass. But when aligned, it's wholeness. All the rooms are integrated, the pillar fully lit up, powering the higher, non-distorted reality of 5D or heaven and connecting you to the larger body that we all share as the one source. At every level, remember the Alice metaphor. Each room has a looking glass at its gate. Tilt it downward and you see distortion, the room twisted into hell. Tilt it upward and you can see clearly, the room filled with light. Same room, two worlds, and the choice is always yours, to leave the house empty and swept but unguarded, or to light the lampstands and inhabit your temple fully. To save your soul isn't about saying a sinner's prayer or about a magical book of life with your name in it or struck out, sitting up in heaven. It means embodying truth at every level of your temple, meeting the gatekeeper at each room, flipping the game board like Alice through the looking glass, and taking your awakening by the reins and choosing alignment over distortion, especially at the heart level. To sell your soul isn't about signing blood pacts with the devil under a full moon. It's something far easier and far scarier. It's the 1,000 daily compromises that you make where you abandon yourself for scripts, approval, and survival patterns, and you hand your authority to the system, to fear, or to whatever feels easier in the moment. The nervous system is the boss at every gate, and if it doesn't feel safe, it won't let you ascend. And the shadows that you meet along the way aren't demons out to damn you. They're guardians holding the door shut until you are ready to face them. When you do, the lock turns, the lampstands light up, and the room becomes the foundation on which you can continue building the staircase to heaven on solid ground, or it becomes the ceiling of a hell that you can't escape. So let's bring it full circle, shall we? Heaven and hell aren't destinations after death. They're frequencies that you live now. Your body is the temple and the map. Each chakra is a level that you can master. Where your focus goes, the switch flips. The same room becomes either hell or heaven. If you want to start exploring this for yourself, download the Soul Alignment Inventory linked below. It's a simple PDF that helps you see which rooms you're powering right now and which gates are asking for your attention. And if you want more connection, I'd love to invite you into the Fire, my free community for awakening souls. Inside, you'll find daily prompts plus a live call once a month where we connect and share the journey together. It's a place to meet others walking the same path and to receive guidance and support along the way. The Fire is also where I'll be announcing my full frameworks as they're released. I'm almost finished with the Nervous System 101 for Spiritual Awakening, a foundational course that shows you how to create the safety that your body needs so real transformation can happen. After that comes Shadow as Protector, and then the full 7 flames of the Rising Phoenix, my chakra by chakra framework for breaking free from distortion, flipping the looking glass, and rising into your highest embodiment. So make sure to meet me in the Fire. You can find us at thefire.circle.so. And if you want to go deeper now, you can apply to work with me one-to-one on my website at thefireunleashed.com/workwithme. All the links are below. You're not waiting for rescue. You're the one powering the program, and you were born for such a time as this. where you flip the polarity, light the lampstands, and start building heaven here and now.